Hey guys, it's me Tahili and it's that time again, Thought for Tuesday. And today's Thought for Tuesday is how you can claim your power back without taking away from anyone else's power. So it's about balance of power. In order to have balance of power, you are taking what you give to others without taking away from theirs. So it's a mix, it's a little bit of a sweet spot. A lot of times in friendships and relationships, even with our pets, it's always about who's in control. We always want to make sure we always have to establish who's in control. But what about, instead of trying to establish who's in control, what about if we just kind of had that balance where we allow each other to be? And it's not about manipulation and trying to get someone or bend someone to your will, but just letting people be and also being yourself. So part of this comes down to respect. Sometimes we want people to respect us, and then you might find yourself saying, but so and so has no respect for me. I don't like the way they treat me. And you're saying all these things, but the one person you're not saying it to is the person who you feel disrespected by. Here's a thought. What if, before you approach that person, you wrote out exactly what you felt was bothering you or is bothering you about that friendship or relationship with that person? And after you write out what you want from this person instead. And then thirdly, you meet with this person. And when you meet with them, you find yourself doing your best to express it, because you see, remember, it's a balance of power. You don't want to take away from theirs. You just want to take back what you give to them. So you find yourself expressing your feelings in a positive and loving way. And when you express yourself, you don't say, you made me feel. What if you said, when you said those words, I felt? So what we're also trying to avoid is to pass guilt onto the other person by saying, you made me feel, you did that. What about if you say, your words, when you said those things, I felt a certain way. So you take ownership for your feelings as well. And in the process, you explain your feelings based on the interaction you have with that person. And then you say what you want instead. So you tell them what you didn't like, but you tell them and what you didn't like, and not in a way that you did this to me, but this is how I felt when I received what you did, what you said. And then you state or you say what you want, because remember, you wrote out what you want, right? What you want instead. I want us to resolve in the future. I want us to resolve our situations in a more peaceful manner, and I want to be more respected by you, and I want you to see me as your partner and not as someone that you talk down to, or whatever it is. Excuse me. So this is an example of how you can take your power back. And I had that experience just this week. I had a situation where I felt in a friendship that I was not being respected. I felt like I was being confused. There was no clarity. And I felt like my my good friend was kind of stringing me along. And I know it wasn't intentional, but sometimes these things do happen. And I wrote out how I felt, because I kind of figured, for me, I needed to have, excuse me, before I could have a conversation with them, I need to have clarity on how I felt. So after doing that, I wrote out my feelings, what I didn't like, what I was feeling, and then I chose to write, well, okay, well, now I know what I don't like. What do I want instead? And then I wrote that out. And it so happens that I had the opportunity to see my friend and to talk with them, and we had a very easy, loving communication, and afterward we still communicated very well. The outcome was, I felt very empowered. I've claimed my power back, and I felt more empowered in the sense that I didn't take anything from anybody. I didn't leave that person feeling any less of themselves or feeling guilty because they weren't treating me in a way that was fair, or whatever words I would like to use. So um, that's really important. Claiming your power back without taking away from somebody else's. And I don't need to feel like I'm the master, like I won, or I'm the master of that situation. All I wanted was to be seen, to be heard, hopefully to be understood. And if not, that's okay. Let's agree to just move on lovingly. Because that's important too. Sometimes you just need to walk away from situations when they are not serving you. And in friendships and in families, we have lots of that. And sometimes we just always trying to hold on and to cling to things when we really just need to let it go for a while. Letting it go doesn't mean it's forever. It means that you have to let things go until they subside. And then when, we're in a different space, we can try anew to see how we could create not what was, but what can be. Because, sometimes when you have a relationship that falls apart, the first thing people say is, well, I'd like things to go back to how they were. I don't want to go back to how we were. Because how we were working else, we wouldn't have fallen apart. What I would like is for us to be better than before. Just because things aren't as like they were before doesn't mean it's the end of the world. There's actually an opportunity for things to be greater. So that's my thought for Tuesday. I'm going to leave you there. How to claim your power without taking away from someone else's power. And it's something that we can hone. But the 3 ways I have found that help. 1, you want to establish what you didn't like about what was happening. Then when you establish what you did not like, you then want to establish what you do want instead. And then thirdly, you want to find the most loving way to communicate this, where you can peacefully continue and create something bigger and better than before. So that's my thought for Tuesday. Thank you so much for listening. Have a blessed evening. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Namaste. Stay blessed, guys.